Welcome to Congress in Context, your guide to understanding what's truly happening on Capitol Hill and how it ripples out to impact your life. Today, we're taking a deep dive into the Congressional Record from Friday, August 15th, 2025. You might glance at the headlines and think, well, what a quiet day in Washington. But as we unpack this record, you'll discover that beneath the surface, there's always, a flurry of essential work being done, shaping everything from national policy right down to your local community.
That's precisely right. We'll peel back the layers of those formal proceedings, track some surprising legislative movements, and then illuminate the many ways Congress connects directly with communities across the country, often in very human and, well, unexpected ways.
Our mission today is really to give you a shortcut to being genuinely well-informed about the week's activities. Highlight those crucial nuggets of knowledge, and maybe even share a few aha moments about how the federal government truly operates. So let's unpack this. Let's start with the daily rhythm of Congress, specifically those formal sessions on Friday, August 15th, 2025. On paper, it looked like an exceptionally brief day, didn't it?
It certainly did. I mean, the House met at noon, called to order by Speaker pro tempore Mr. Wittman of Virginia, and adjourned just 21 minutes later. The Senate, meanwhile, convened even earlier at 10:15 and, get this, 4 seconds a.m., with Senator Thom Tillis of North Carolina serving as acting president pro tempore, and then they adjourned just 27 seconds later.
27 seconds. Seriously, can you imagine being a senator getting called in for less than half a minute? It sounds almost, well, comical, but it underscores just how vital even these brief sort of ceremonial moments are. What exactly happens in such a short session?
Right. It's about fulfilling constitutional requirements and maintaining legal continuity. These quick sessions are almost entirely procedural. In the House, for instance, they approved the journal and did the Pledge of Allegiance. When you hear Speaker pro tempore, just think of it as a temporary speaker stepping in for the day to ensure the legislative gears keep turning, even for these brief foundational moments.
Okay, so a short formal session doesn't mean nothing happened. In fact, it often means the real work is happening behind the scenes, kind of preparing for what comes next. Let's look at the actual legislative actions that surfaced on this particular day. What bills were signed?
Yeah, 2 enrolled bills were signed by the Speaker pro tempore. And enrolled bills just means they've successfully passed both the House and Senate in identical form. They're now official congressional documents, heading straight to the president for his signature or, potentially a veto. The first one, H.R. 2170, is straightforward but, I think, deeply meaningful. It names the Department of Veterans Affairs community-based outpatient clinic in Toms River, New Jersey, the Leonard G. Budlamel VA Clinic. What's truly insightful here is how federal legislation, even on a national stage, can be incredibly granular, right? Directly honoring a local figure. It's a powerful reminder that Washington isn't just about grand national policies. It's also about specific, tangible acknowledgments that forge a direct human connection between Capitol Hill and, well, Main Street.
That's a great point about the local impact. It really brings it home. What was the other bill?
The second bill, H.R. 2808, this one has much broader implications for, well, pretty much every American. It's an act to amend the Fair Credit Reporting Act, basically aiming to prevent consumer reporting agencies from furnishing consumer reports under certain circumstances.
Okay, so that could affect your access to credit, things like that.
Exactly. It could significantly affect your everyday access to and control over your financial information and how it's used, potentially offering, greater consumer protection against unfair or inaccurate reporting.
Gotcha. So these are bills that have made it all the way through the legislative process. They're at the finish line waiting for the president. But before bills even get close to that stage, they go through committees, right? That's where the real groundwork is laid. What can we learn about that crucial process from Friday's record?
Yeah, that's where a lot of the heavy lifting happens. We saw several reports of committees delivering public bills and resolutions for printing and reference to the proper calendar, usually the Committee of the Whole House on the State of the Union.
Committee of the Whole House. What does that mean exactly?
Right. So when bills are prepped for floor debate and sent to the Committee of the Whole House, it means the entire House of Representatives is essentially operating under a special, streamlined set of rules. It's designed to speed up discussion and amendments. It's a critical procedural step, really, to get bills ready for a final vote.
Okay, so which committees were reporting things out?
Well, for example, the Small Business Committee, led by Mr. Williams of Texas, they reported out 5 different bills.
5. Wow.
Yeah, demonstrating a clear focus on, the backbone of the American economy. These proposals aim to modernize IT for the Small Business Administration, increase loan limits for small manufacturers, clarify responsibilities for rural affairs, and even extend the statute of limitations for fraud in some of those pandemic programs.
Hmm.
It's a pretty comprehensive effort to support and safeguard small businesses and entrepreneurs across the country.
That is a lot of focus on small business. What other committees were active? What kinds of issues were they tackling?
Well, the Veterans Affairs Committee, led by Mr. Bose, they reported H.R. 980. This proposes improvements to on-campus educational and vocational counseling by the Department of Veterans Affairs.
Okay, so directly helping vets.
Exactly.
Hmm.
Directly impacts veterans seeking support and, transitioning into civilian life or further education. It's about ensuring those who served have the resources they need.
Makes sense.
Then there's the Homeland Security Committee, led by Mr. Garbarino. They reported two key bills. H.R. 1569 establishes a pilot program to assess technology for speeding up cargo inspection at land ports of entry. So that's about improving efficiency and security at our borders.
Uh-huh.
But what's maybe even more significant is H.R. 2659. This establishes an interagency task force and requires a comprehensive report on China's state-sponsored cyber actors targeting U.S. critical infrastructure.
Wow.
Yeah, this really highlights a significant and ongoing national security concern, showing Congress is, deeply engaged with these modern threats.
It's fascinating how many different areas these committees touch. It really reflects the huge scope of what the federal government deals with. And beyond the bills moving through committees, we also saw new ideas being introduced, right? Brand new proposals. What were some of those on August 15th?
Yes, it was actually a pretty busy day for introductions. There were 22 public bills, 4 joint resolutions, and 10 regular resolutions introduced.
Boy.
And a few really caught my eye for their diverse impact and sometimes sort of surprising approaches, like H.R. 4972, introduced by Mr. Stuba, Florida. It addresses the shortage of foster homes, aiming to keep sibling groups together and providing for foster care payments in these cottage family homes.
That sounds really important, could have a real impact.
Absolutely, a tangible impact on children and families navigating the foster system. Then there's H.R. 4974 by Mr. Buchanan of Florida. This requires a report from the Comptroller General, who's basically the chief accountant for the federal government,
Right.
on the potential of artificial intelligence, AI, to assist the IRS in detecting tax fraud.
Interesting. Using new tech for old problems.
Exactly. It points to Congress looking at emerging technology for government efficiency and, combating financial crimes. And Mrs. Dexter of Pennsylvania introduced H.R. 4976. This aims to improve understanding and policy responses to the impacts of wildfire smoke on children in educational and childcare settings.
Very specific, but yeah, incredibly timely given everything.
Totally. A critical environmental health concern. And H.R. 4977 from Ms. Lois Frankel of Florida addresses barriers to coverage of remote physiologic devices under state Medicaid programs. The goal is to improve maternal and child health outcomes, directly impacts healthcare access for pregnant and postpartum women, highlighting how tech can support vulnerable populations.
That's quite a range, from very specific local-sounding issues to broad national policy and even how technology intersects with governance. But there was one bill, I think, that proposed a truly, ancient legal concept for a very modern problem, wasn't there?
You must be thinking of H.R. 4988 by Mr. Schweikert of Arizona.
That's the one.
Yeah, this bill proposes authorizing the president to issue letters of marque and reprisal.
Letters of marque and reprisal. Like pirates.
Kind of.
Yeah.
For acts of aggression against the U.S. by criminal enterprises involved in cyber crimes. This is a truly eye-opening proposal. I mean, imagine reaching back to a 17th century concept of privateers, basically government-sanctioned private attackers, and applying it to cyber warfare today.
That's wild.
It really is. It shows Congress is exploring every historical and legal tool, maybe, to confront completely new, invisible threats. Gives us a glimpse into the evolving nature of national security and, the lengths policymakers might be willing to go.
It's fascinating to see old ideas brought into new contexts like that. Now, beyond new bills, we also saw some joint resolutions that really highlight current political dynamics, didn't we?
We did. 2 joint resolutions, H.J. Res. 114 by Mrs. Luna and H.J. Res. 115 by Mr. Raskin, both address the president's emergency declaration on crime in the District of Columbia.
Okay, and how do they differ?
Well, one seeks to extend it, the other seeks to terminate it. It perfectly illustrates a very clear partisan divide on a high-profile, localized issue that has national implications. It's a snapshot of that ongoing debate over federal versus local control, right? And how the federal government interacts with the nation's capital.
This shows the push and pull. And yet, on a note of potential, maybe bipartisan alignment, what about that resolutions from miscapture? That seemed like an interesting intersection of policy and politics.
Ah, yes. HRES 657, introduced by Miscapture of Ohio. This resolution affirms the president's promise not to raise the Social Security and Medicare retirement age. And what's interesting is, in her constitutional authority statement, she explicitly cited President Trump's July 8, 2024 statement on the same issue.
So referencing the other party's leader.
Exactly. It highlights an issue where, despite broader political divisions, there seems to be a stated agreement across the aisle on protecting these vital programs. It's a rare moment of overt alignment, you could say, in an often divided Congress, especially on such a key issue for retirees and seniors. It's a powerful signal to constituents, you know.
Yeah, that is interesting. This brings up an important question, though. How much of Congress's work involves reviewing actions taken by other parts of the government? Rather than just initiating new legislation, it feels like we hear more about new laws, but maybe less about the oversight part.
Oh, a significant amount, actually. It's a crucial but often unseen part of their job. We saw a long list of executive communications in Friday's record. Think of these as federal agencies essentially submitting their homework to Congress.
Their homework.
Yeah, these are official documents like new rules and regulations that they've drafted. Congress, acting as the oversight body, reviews them to ensure they align with the laws passed and, the public's best interests. It's really how the legislative branch keeps the executive accountable for the immense power it wields over our daily lives.
So these are basically agencies saying, hey, Congress, here are new rules we're putting out, please review them. And that means everything from foreign policy to what we eat.
Precisely. For example, the FDA submitted a direct final rule on revoking food standards for products not currently sold. That impacts food safety and labeling. The FC sent one titled Delete, 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 related to telecommunications, affecting how internet and phone services are regulated. The Department of State transmitted certifications for export licenses related to arms control, demonstrating oversight of sensitive foreign policy.
Okay.
And it goes even deeper. We saw numerous rules from the Department of the Interior and NOAA, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. These were referred to the Committee on Natural Resources. And the sheer volume of NOAA rules related to fisheries management. I mean, covering everything from specific regional fish like Atlantic cod to Alaskan crab. It truly demonstrates how federal regulation can get incredibly granular.
Wow.
And how Congress meticulously keeps tabs on it. Additionally, there were major final rules from the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services regarding hospital inpatient payments, hospice, psychiatric facilities, skilled nursing facilities, all for fiscal year 2026.
Those sound huge.
They are particularly impactful, yeah.
Yeah.
Affecting healthcare providers and costs across the entire country. It's the silent, steady work that keeps the machinery of government accountable and directly impacts your daily life, even if you never see a headline about it.
Okay, that clarifies a lot about the formal legislative flow and that really critical oversight role of Congress.
Yeah.
But beyond the bills and rules, Congress is also a place where local achievements and community stories get brought to the national stage, right? The extensions of remarks section of the Congressional Record seems like a goldmine for this. It really shows the human side of governance. What stood out to you there?
You're absolutely right. What's truly fascinating here is how members of Congress use this space to recognize the unsung heroes and vital organizations in their districts. It paints this vivid picture of the incredible diversity and impact of local efforts that often go completely unnoticed nationally. It's where the personal side of public service really shines, kind of bridging the gap between Washington and everyday American life.
Let's start with some of the individual recognitions. It's always inspiring to hear about people making a difference in their communities.
Absolutely. And we saw many moving tributes to dedicated public servants and educators. For instance, Dr. Tom Johnson, honored by Mr. Weber of Texas. He retired after 7 years as president of Lamar State College Orange, where he championed record enrollment and new programs, even launched a nationally successful bass fishing team, apparently. And this followed a distinguished 20-year career in the Houston Police Department. Quite a life of service.
Wow, yeah.
We also saw recognitions for individuals like Lizette Estrella-Henderson, honored by Mr. Thompson of California for 40 years of service to public education. She became the first Latina superintendent of schools for Solano County, expanded opportunities, and established school-based mental health wellness centers. Incredible work.
40 years, amazing.
And Detective Paul Gessie of North Glen PD, honored by Mr. Evans of Colorado for his 41 years in law enforcement, particularly as a homicide detective. There was a poignant note in that recognition about the unseen burdens and personal toll, the PTSD that comes with such work.
Yeah.
These stories really underscore the deep personal commitment many individuals make to their communities, often for decades, and Congress provides that platform to acknowledge it.
It's truly inspiring to hear about these dedicated individuals and the profound impact they have. What about organizations or community initiatives that received recognition? These are often the unsung heroes doing vital work on the ground.
You're right, and there were many organizations highlighted for their enduring impact, showcasing this vibrant tapestry of American community efforts. La Luz Center in Sonoma Valley, California was honored by Mr. Thompson. They're celebrating 40 years of supporting the Latino community with essential services, becoming a real beacon of cultural resilience there.
40 years, fantastic.
Also in California, Enchanted Hills Camp for the Blind, recognized by Mr. Thompson too, celebrating 75 years. 75 years of providing opportunities for blind, low vision, and deaf-blind individuals, fostering confidence and independence through tailored programs.
Incredible legacy.
In Florida, Place of Hope, recognized by Mr. Mast, marked its 25th anniversary of serving children and families in crisis. They provide foster care, maternity care, human trafficking prevention, really vital services. And up in Michigan, Community First Health Centers, honored by Mrs. McLean, celebrated 50 years of delivering accessible, high-quality health care to over 10,000 residents, including crucial programs like homeless health care and transportation services.
Wow, just a few powerful examples.
Exactly, showing how local initiatives are making a tangible difference, often for decades.
And we also saw some unique company milestones being celebrated, didn't we? It's not just nonprofits or public service, but businesses too, which are, cornerstones of local economies.
Absolutely. Ranch Popcorn Company of Pennsylvania, recognized by Mr. Smucker. They celebrated their 100th anniversary.
A century of
Yeah,
popcorn.
that's right. As the easternmost popcorn processor in the U.S., a true testament to the enduring legacy of family businesses. And Rasmussen University in Minnesota, highlighted by Mrs. Craig on their 125th anniversary, recognized as a leader in career-focused education, particularly nursing, showcasing the evolution of American enterprise and workforce development. And it's also interesting to see R2P Innovations of South Carolina. They were recognized by Mr. Wilson for their bulletproof doors. They ranked #5 on the Inc. 5000 list.
Impressive.
And notably, they installed secure door systems right there in the U.S. Capitol building.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It shows how private sector innovation can directly impact government safety and infrastructure. A fascinating intersection, right?
It truly highlights the broad spectrum of what Congress recognizes and how deeply connected it is to what's happening at the local level across the country. It's not just about passing laws, it's about acknowledging the whole fabric of American life. So what does this all mean for you, our listener? This deep dive into just a single day's congressional record reveals that even on a seemingly quiet Friday, significant work is happening. From new laws being signed to regulations being meticulously reviewed and countless individuals and organizations being recognized for their incredible contributions, it's a constant flow of activity.
It truly underscores that Congress isn't just about the headline-grabbing debates and, the high-profile votes. It's also about the steady, often unseen processes that keep our government functioning and our communities connected. Whether it's granular fisheries management, vital small business support, or honoring local heroes, these details form the very fabric of our democracy and ultimately impact your life.
And if you're interested in digging deeper into any of the bills or resolutions we discussed today, remember you can always find them on congress.gov. That's also where you can track specific legislation, find out how to contact your own representatives, and, explore the congressional record for yourself. It's all public.
Right. And while there are no committee meetings or hearings explicitly scheduled for next Tuesday, August 19, according to the record we looked at, this doesn't mean Congress isn't active. As we saw with those executive communications, there's always work happening behind the scenes. A constant flow of information and new rules from agencies to the legislative branch. Keep an eye on those committees as they prepare bills for future debate. That's often where the real progress begins.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, maybe consider this. What local stories, what community achievements in your area do you think deserve to be brought to the attention of your representatives? How might their recognition on Capitol Hill inspire others and highlight the diverse contributions that truly make up our nation? Something to think about.
Yeah, thinking about the profound impact of those individual and organizational recognitions There's such a powerful reminder that while the grand legislative processes are vital, the heart of Congress often beats loudest in the everyday stories of American ingenuity, service, and community spirit. It's a connection worth strengthening, I think.
Thank you for joining us for this deep dive into Congress in context. We hope you feel a little more well-informed and maybe a lot more connected to the fascinating work happening in Washington and across the country.